Hey, ladies and gents, boys and girls, what is happening? It's been a couple of weeks since we were last on, and oh man, so rad to be back and be chatting. We've got some cool peeps that we're chatting to again today. I mean, it's been our first three were just epic, so much vibe, so much just awesomeness, and now we get to go on to our next bunch of athletes, and it's going to be so cool chatting to them. But before we even get there, how awesome is it that potentially we're all waiting, because we know that some of the announcements from our governments have been a bit up and down and topsy-turvy, but maybe, just maybe, dropping down to a level 3 means we might be able to do a little bit more training, maybe get out there a little bit more. I don't know, I think we're also waiting for our official professional contracts, to say that we are professional non-contact sports so we can train. I think that's highly unlikely, but imagine that would happen. How sick would that be? So yeah, maybe just a little bit of time on the turf would be great. I think we're all absolutely trying to drink it in, and I must admit, maybe you see a little bit of a change of scenery. I'm now officially off the farm, so no longer up in Howick. I was back to work officially on Monday for me, but we've been going in and making sure we got everything sorted out and sanitized and ready to have everyone come in. So yeah, officially back down in Durban, summer 365, good to be here. But it looks like today, for the majority, we're actually speaking to mostly inland people, at least people that are based inland at the moment. And yeah, we're going to go from there. So it's going to be good to catch up and chat with everyone. But one thing that I have to mention today is that the official prize for today's Chukka Chat is, not that the last ones weren't rad, because, I mean, who doesn't want a Osaka stash? It's just epic. But today, we get to officially introduce the Deshi project by Osaka, South Africa. And I know any of you that have gone into the website would have seen this. It is such a rad just initiative that's been taken on, and it's the opportunity to get one-on-one training with some of our top athletes. It's so rad. So we got Jess Lodden, we got Miguel de Grassa, we got Chad Future, we got Lisa Deadcliffs, we got Robin Johnson. They're all there, and it's your opportunity to interact 1v1 with them. So today's prize, you win a session with a coach of your choice, a player of your choice. You could just sit and chill and chat with them for an hour, or go through drag flicking with Chad. You can go with some indoor stuff with Jess. You can go with the power slap of Fury from Lisa. You can ask Robs anything you like. I mean, what do I think? Oh, how could I left Migs out? Oh my goodness. Coach extraordinaire, player that runs for days. My goodness. So, worth getting involved, worth answering some questions, asking some questions, and we'll just have some good banter with everyone that's jumping on. So, I think we'll get into it, and then we can go from there. Should be cool. So, let me jump on and get our first guy once. I think we've all seen him across the turf. You definitely would have seen some of his work, which has been pretty epic, because he's been coming across on our Instagram feed more and more, even though he's not necessarily the one in front of the lens. Like, if we can connect and get started, we can go and get onto this. So let's see. Hopefully technology doesn't let us down. Cody, what's happening, bro?
John, how are you?
Yeah, doing very well, thank you.
Yeah, I know. Thanks for the introduction there as well. Sounds quite nice. I wonder who that guy is. But,
dude,
so you're back in Durban now, eh?
Yeah, back in Durbs. And you can probably tell, you know.
Yeah, I got the shorts on.
Board shorts.
Complete opposite here. We got a hoodie on. It's cold this side in Joburg. So yeah, for those who don't know, I'm in Joburg. So yeah, it's getting colder. Apparently there's a cold front. So I don't know. It's been quite cold in that front. Get it?
Nice.
Yeah, no.
You've been taking after Jess O'Connor there, dropping some of those puns, eh?
Yeah, and there, just a few. Just chuck a few in there. Otherwise,
bro, taking it easy. It has been good to be back. But the big one from everyone on this side, you sort of a master of two very different crafts. Bro,
yeah.
Archaeology, and then you also
yeah,
videography. What's the story, bro?
To be honest, I'm not exactly sure what direction I'm going in either. So I've just, I don't know, put eggs in all kinds of baskets and seeing what's happening with them. Yeah, mostly, I don't know. Can you hear me quite clearly? I was just a quick question. The audio, is it fine?
And
Yeah,
you still,
but basically, I started videography stuff quite, well, mostly in university when I, like, first, second year or so. And then kind of just worked with that on the side. Still played hockey, obviously. And then, yeah, microbiology, the side of that kind of just came in from, uh, I had a big enjoyment for biology in general.
Mhm.
So when I got into university, I kind of knew that that's the direction I wanted to head into. And then, yeah, that's kind of just one of them that stuck out to me, and I've pushed all the way through, and now master's final year, we are.
Oh
Yeah,
my goodness. Jeepers. So you got to just roll through and now become something epic. But
basically. So, yeah,
you,
there is a
you,
bit of a fallback as well. So if hockey doesn't work out, hopefully I can get employed in somewhere in microbiology, or if that doesn't work out, I can go into video stuff. So, yeah.
go into video stuff and all the rest. But you really undersold. You said, oh, a little bit of hockey, all the rest, but like PHL winner, dominating sauce in the Olympic squad. Like, oh, it's just this other thing that I do on the side. Come on, that's
Yeah,
insane.
kind of just, I don't know. I'm the type of person that like once I get into it, I just go all the way. Like I push through, and like get find motivation to try and obviously just stick to it, and obviously be disciplined in the manner that I go about it. So I think, yeah, it's been a big change. Obviously, if I was in first year and I had to ask myself, would I be in this position now? It's like I'd look at that person and say, "Yo, that's crazy what you're saying now." But I mean, to finally be is actually, it's quite cool. I won't lie. Also having the opportunity with Osaka, because I've got approached by the brand to add that element with the videography stuff. So I
Mm.
mean, that's been also such an awesome experience, being making the videos, because we did the promotion one where, I don't know if you saw the one with Courtney and Robin and everyone else, so kind of like that vibe. Yeah, so we shot that in about a day, almost, yeah, a day and a bit, and then kind of put it together with Tyron as well. So yeah, I mean, it's a pity we couldn't do more now as well. I mean, I'd love to shoot more things, and but with the current situation of the lockdown and that, it's a bit
Yeah,
of a limitation.
I think it's going to be, you're going to have to be out there, like you're 6 to 9 for training, whatever, running camera, stay still, hold, crack on, let's go. Next.
Exactly, exactly.
Uh,
No.
Robert, you mentioned obviously being super disciplined and really focusing your just the way you sort of you process your thoughts and thinking and all the rest. What's been your sort of routine and keeping on top of it through lockdown? I mean, it's something that we've been asking everyone, but you
Yeah.
personally, or go-to thing?
I mean, I think I'll start just on a broad sense. Like, I think when lockdown started, it was almost like everything did shut down, obviously. But I mean, it wasn't, I don't think everyone anticipated the fact that like work would also carry on in that period as on. Be like, I've actually been more busy now in this lockdown period in some ways compared to before, like when everything's were normal, I could say. Um,
No.
yeah,
Mm.
normal.
Yeah.
So I've been also, obviously I do work for Wits as well. For those who don't know, I am a student at Wits, so I do video stuff for them for their sports side of things. And yeah, their media pages also obviously had a requirement for videography and things like that. So I've been editing a lot of footage for them, and then also still doing my own studies, because with my master's degree, it's just by dissertation. So
Oh yeah.
I don't, yeah, so I don't have lectures or anything, which sounds nice initially, but it's not really. Because then
When you
I have to go to the
have
labs.
a presentation or
Yeah,
something, no, it's yeah.
it's hard. So I have to go to the labs, and then when I do go in, well, before it was much more easier in a sense that, you could just go, I could work on a certain time schedule that I'd set for myself and then go train afterwards. But that's all been disrupted now. So luckily I've had results to work with from like the tests and things that I've done.
Okay.
Um, and then with that, I've had to work on my thesis writing and send drafts for that to my supervisor. So yeah, kind of, it's still been just as busy as it was before. Yeah, it's
I think
crazy.
it's like, I think we're actually more busy because everyone's feeling guilty. Like, oh, I actually should be doing work. I can't just like
Yeah,
chill and have this extra coffee. No, get on it and like really sort this out.
Yeah. I actually had something funny from a friend of mine as well. He said, like, in lockdown, if you're tired, there's no excuse because you can always sleep a bit later. If you sleep a bit later, you know, you can always work that period back in.
Yeah.
So it's like, that can't be accepted.
There's no shifting times and
Yeah.
but that's crazy.
But I
But
think,
Cody,
sorry
yeah,
if I interrupt you 1 second. It's also quite cool in the sense that lockdowns also, I think from a business perspective, I know it's just deviating a bit, but from a business perspective as well, like the requirement for office space is also kind of changed now because I don't know, I think companies can also see that people can still be productive without actually going into the work facility. So I think like once things do ease up and we hopefully do reach level 2 and level 1 in future, like I think it will change a lot in that sense that I don't think companies will be renting as much space as before, or you know, you could have certain positions that work from home and send their work in, or like I don't know. That's just an idea.
No, I mean, I think our conventional idea of what work is and how it operates is going to completely change. And I was listening to an interesting podcast and they're saying they're trying to work it out. Like, what do you think? What conventional social construct is now going to fall away because everyone's so used to not hugging and not touching and not greeting the stuff? And you know, it's going to be such an interesting thing to see how this thing totally changes life as we know it. It's like going forward.
But I mean, you've been overseas, right? And you played overseas as well, right? But I think the culture amongst people is a bit different in that sense. Like, I feel like in South Africa, we're much more contact orientated, like, and in a friendly manner though. Like when you greet someone, the normal like consensus is just to hug or, like get quite personal with the person. Where I think, I don't know if it's the same overseas in terms of like people actually just like physical contact. I don't think is as much like over there compared to here. So that's going to be a big change for us in that perspective. And masks. I mean, the masks.
I've been struggling. I've went shield, mask, everything. I'm trying to see what works. It's just
does it fit the hair,
dude? Man, I'm ready. I'm trying to work this out. Give it a bit of a shave, right?
I had to give it a shave as well. I won't lie. See if it's a bit neatened up.
Dude, but I'm glad that you got a bit of throwback because you went nice and tame for a little bit.
Yeah, and on the sides I cleaned up a bit, but it's slowly growing back, as you can see. I'm to be honest, I don't know what I'm gonna do in future with the hair. And on some days I feel like I'm just gonna take a number 2 clipper and take it all off. You know,
you're wrong. Don't go there.
You persevered. You've definitely persevered.
But, I don't know. I wouldn't mind having a little bit of a trim, a hairdresser at some stage. I think would be good.
If you ever in Joburg, don't be afraid to let me know because I've been working on my barber skills. So I've been watching videos, practicing.
Listen,
quite good. So it's something to be aware of if you ever decide. You're welcome to book an appointment and put it that way.
I trust quite easily and frequently. I don't know if I'm going to hand anyone a razor that's not a professional, but thank you for the offer. I appreciate it.
Nah, don't. You'll see results from people within the hockey field, and then slowly you'll come to realize what you're missing out on.
Is it? Like, we'll see. We need to get into some questions. Oh my gosh, running a bit short here. But I saw a rad one earlier, and I think one that's definitely appropriate. Old Mark Walraven, where he's asking when you're dropping, eh?
When?
When's your album dropping?
Hey.
He says, saying what's going on?
The studio, we're actually working on it here. No joke. In lockdown, people have been writing. I'm not going to say names, but I have been filming. So I've been filming them. There's some behind the scenes work that's going on. And there's a few artists in this house that are actually quite talented, I'll be honest. One of them, I'm sure you know, has dropped a song already. One of them has dropped a song already.
Nice, yes.
And if for those who don't know, his name's Tabang. He's also a good... I'm actually wearing a fanny pack now. So he made a song about fanny packs. And there's another there's another artist in our house also who's got a long history. I'm sure also lots of hockey players will know his dad, Sean Burke, photographer, takes all the sports stuff. His son
he's been doing
living
awesome
with me, and he's also been recording some. Yeah, he's been recording some good stuff as well. But listen, my battery's dying. I'm gonna quickly go charge while we're walking and chatting. Also, I was outside to get the lights, and now it's all gone. So I'm gonna quickly go inside. But you can chat.
Nice.
What do you?
Well, tell you what, we actually we right on 15 minutes, so I'll save you the walk and the crash down in the bed and everything. This has been such an epic chat, and
yeah,
bro, I think we're gonna have to get you on, and we can chat a little bit more at one of the other Chukka chats because
definitely.
Sorry, everyone's only getting to a couple of questions there. We got a whole heap, but maybe what they can do is drop you something on a live feed. I'm sure if everyone will jump across to your personal page and ask you what you want, and we can get them involved in. Maybe they can ask for you in their Deshi session, eh?
Yeah, they definitely can. I'll be happy to answer a few questions. I see Mark has also asked, "Where's the power bank?" The power bank is flat, Mark. So yeah. Okay.
Oh, brilliant. Cody, you absolute legend. Right. Thanks so much, bro.
Perfect. Thanks, I'll definitely chat to you guys soon, though. I'll be on future ones, maybe. So that's the plan. No, thanks for the chat, though.
Wait to see music video.
Okay. Cheers, Johns.
Cheers, bro. Cheers. Oh, man. Cody, what an absolute champion. That was brilliant. And, geez, what an absolutely talented guy across all spheres. I mean, geez, we look at so many of our guys, super intelligent, an absolute demon on the hockey field. And then, just this super creative, coming up with cool ideas. I don't know if you've actually checked out anything on his page or some of the stuff he's posted. Like, he's playing around with just speeds and stuff and different lightings and films and filters. It's just rad. It's just cool stuff. So do yourself a favor, go across if you do have any interest or just want to see cool stuff. I mean, as he mentioned earlier, he was also the guy that did the Osaka SA promotional video, which was so sick. I mean, we all jumped on that, and Courtney was part of that last one, and we interviewed him last. So, yeah. But let's see if we can get our next person on here quickly before we, just to make sure that we don't have to actually jump on or end the time and go back here. And we can go, but where is she? Oh my gosh, we're floating through here quickly. Aha, there she is. Here we go. And looking forward, I mean, you all saw earlier, CJ, what a pleasure. We're going to have her on. She's coming to join us from the middle of the country. So as soon as she jumps on, we can get her going. Oh, there we go. It's awesome to see so many of us getting involved here. Thanks, guys. This is epic. Taylor Johnson wants a collab. Oh, we all want to see that collab. Yes, and I think you guys have been doing some rad stuff. Oh. Mark, the power bank is in the fanny pack. Oh, that's brilliant. Oh. So, yeah. Oh, yeah, that little fanny pack, Osaka fanny pack. How about that, eh? We'll get the star on there. Jeepers, I think then we're really going with some vibe. Oh. I think I can hear CJ in the background. Are you there? We can't quite see your video.
Yeah. I don't know how to put it on.
Oh, no. Oh, I think we lost you again. But, yes, I think we'd all rather get the video going. Let me try one more time. And let's see what we can do here. And maybe. Yeah, get a battery check on CJ. Yeah. Maybe so. Again, Bloemfontein, it seems to be in that hole. I had a Chad, everyone. Sure. Not much signal going on that side of the world. There we go. CJ, are we on?
Yeah, I don't know why it doesn't want to show.
No, maybe we're breaking up a little bit there. Oh my goodness.
Okay,
well, yeah, we can hear you. That's cool.
Oh.
Uh-huh.
I'll quickly go to another side of the house.
Okay, cool. That sounds perfect. Well, CJ, the big important one. I think we need to clear up from the beginning. Because confusion for everyone. Oh, can you hear? There's a... Okay. I'll tell you what. Yeah, we'll catch up with you again in a little bit. So maybe you go try to find some more Wi-Fi other side of the house. But what if we get into the girl's actually going to be on Chukka 3. We might just get him to jump the queue because, again, a whole lot of vibe coming into it. And then let's see. So, my man, Carl, what's happening,
What's up,
bro?
Jonty? How are you?
Yeah, doing very well, thank you.
Good, man. Good to see
you.
you.
You also hoodied up, eh?
Yeah, it's cold.
There.
It's cold. Normally I'm quite Afrikaans. I walk around in stuff, but now it's getting a bit chilly.
Dude, I think from all the forecasts, one thing is I'm glad I left the farm because they got a -2 this morning. It was -5 at the dairy, and we woke up and it was a pleasant 24 degrees here. So, yeah.
Must be nice.
And, yeah, it must be mighty, mighty cold there. Oh, yeah, epic. Dude,
yeah.
We went through the stream, the Osaka, and just going through some memories. And I think it was 7 years ago, you had this memory pop up of a team all playing with the Osaka, and there was the young, still absolutely massive, Lion-Cachet, still jamming it out and going.
Yeah, peace.
That's been a long journey, eh? You guys have been in it for ages now.
Crazy, eh? I was very blessed. They kind of approached me early on in my career, and picked me up and looked after me extremely well throughout the years. So it's been an awesome journey, and what a brand to be a part of. Yeah,
bro. It's just epic. It really is epic. But obviously, you drag flicking extraordinaire. What's been your go-to shape? What's your sticker choice at the moment?
Look, I mean, I always learned how to flick with a straighter stick, just because obviously skill-wise I was never as good as you or anyone else in the park, so I had to keep it as basic as possible. So I always learned with a straight stick. So kind of the low bow Pro Tour Limited, kind of that's my go-to. Anything with a bigger bow, I just can't play hockey. Sorry, hardy dolls. Anything with more of a bow, I can't play hockey with. So yeah, the straights are the better, to be honest.
Also, I'd hate to see how far you could throw aerials if you actually played with a proper low bow, because at the moment you're dropping off.
No, the only time I can throw proper low is with those sticks you used to cut the shape out of. Remember, as a lighty, and you can rip it. That's how it all started, to be honest.
Oh, bro, that is epic. But something that came up a little while ago is obviously you've had a pretty rocky road in your career in the last couple of years. I mean, if we go back, SN21 Junior World Cup, really dominating, and then boom, straight back into it, double hip operation at the same time. Crazy. Dude, and coming back, going in straight into tournaments and back on it, how was that period for you? What's like, geez, mentally that is so tough, but how did you get to it?
Look, it was, I mean, both mentally and physically, Jonty. It was one of those where I started getting sore when I was 18, and I started to realize that there was something wrong. And I initially thought it was a hernia because my old man got hernias as well, so I reckon it was a genetic thing. And then I realized it was my hips that were giving me a problem. And I kind of, like, for a long time, I was going through different doctors, and they were all telling me different things and like what the issue was. And then eventually a physio actually found out that it was a cam and pincer impingement, and he kind of told me that there's no real fix for this because it's cartilage damage. So I kind of, for a long time, was quite upset and quite bleak about the whole, like, why me type of thing, you know. And then I kind of had to put it off with lots of cataflam and lots of glute activation to try and get the pain away. And eventually I had to book the straight after the World Cup. I had to come back and have the ops. And it kind of, I mean, the road back to recovery, it never really happens like that because it doesn't recover. It's one of those injuries where you kind of got to live with it for the rest of your life. And that's been the most frustrating thing, is that it doesn't go away. And I mean, now especially, in the winter it does get cold and get sore, and it's just one of those things. But you know what I realize is you can't deal with the cards you've been dealt. You have to deal with the cards you've been dealt. So you've got to kind of just roll with the punches, and being positive about things is the only choice you really have. You know, because if you're negative about things, then then all of a sudden you get into a spiral effect and you get depressed and you start to like get into this negative headspace, and that doesn't help. So you got to just be positive, and that's what I've done, and it's helped me so much. And just to realize that, you know what, everyone's got their ailments, everyone's got their injuries that they're dealing with, and it's just specific to you. There's no excuse. You got to just pick up the stick, run on the field, and jaw.
Bro, that's exactly it. I think no two words have been spoken. There's, you know, everyone's sailing through a storm. Everyone's just in a different boat, and you got to deal with what you've got. Yeah, dude, that's awesome. It's so sick. Stay that positive and stay through it, and yeah, that's awesome. But I think there are a couple of things. You throw out a lot of vibe on your Instagram page, and we've seen it, and out with the boys, and a lot of stuff on the field, and you training really hard. We had a question which came across the DM earlier. It was a twofold question. The first one was, hit us with your best pickup line. What's that go to? That one that's just
my best pickup line.
You do have a girlfriend though, so this is theoretical. This would never happen again. But
just putting me on the spot here. I don't normally use pickup lines, but I mean,
I just use a smile.
Yeah, that doesn't help. Jonty, I don't have your smile. It doesn't help as easily as you think, I promise. One I heard earlier today was, are you a bonfire? Because you're hot and I want small. See, that's why I don't use pickup lines.
Hey, baby, what's over there?
You would know, Jonty. You would know. That's why there's a ring on that finger, Jonty, because you're too smooth.
Oh, I don't know. That's all. Alex is an absolute sucker. I think that's what it was. I think I just got really lucky more than anything else.
She's awesome, man.
Okay, well, the second part was, was there an actual line to get your girlfriend? Because those are going to be two completely different things. That's got to be,
to be honest with you, my girlfriend's too smart to have fallen for any of those pickup lines. So I had to just try and be as genuine as I could be. So unfortunately, that wouldn't have worked in this scenario, which is probably a good thing.
That's probably a very good thing, in fact. Probably why she's
exactly.
That's epic. But bro, let's get into some questions, saying that we missed a couple earlier. And I've actually read one here from Seth Rolf. I think we mentioned your drag flick and all that. He said, is there any specific drag flicking techniques you can share? I mean, we go through so many different ones you can see. We can go through like Justin Reed-Ross getting it in the hook. It. We go with someone who's seeing it off the face. You even go with Paylot, who's got a really big drag. You know, Ashley Jackson, Christy. What's your go-to? What do you do?
Look, I mean, to be honest, my only advice would be you've got to kind of figure out what works best for your body. So there's many different ways you can approach a drag flick. I think the fundamental thing that always is what the technique that you should be looking to achieve is to get the ball rolling up and down the stick. And whatever you use to get to that point is different for everyone. I mean, I like putting my right leg behind my left leg. A lot of guys like putting the right leg in front of their left leg. A lot of guys flick quite upright. A lot of guys flick really low. I'm one of those that try to flick really low. That's probably why my hips are so shattered. But to be honest, it's just about where you can generate power and, more importantly, placement. Like that's, I think, is the most important, because I mean, you look at a guy like Matt Brown, who's I mean, one of the best flickers I've seen, in Gareth Haynes and Chad Futcher, all these guys, where the placement is really good, and that's all that really matters. The speed you can work on later, but whatever action that helps you achieve that accuracy is the most important. So yeah, just literally the way I learned was YouTube videos. I kept a diary and I kind of wrote it all down, and I followed a lot of guys, Taki Takama, Sahela Bus, all the OGs of the game, and kind of just figured out what works best for my body. And I worked out that staying nice and low and getting my right leg behind my left leg. And my dad, obviously, he was quite a good flicker back in his day, so he took me through and helped me quite a lot. So honestly, whatever works best for your body, whatever feels right, just work on that technique over and over and over again until you can put it in a 5-cent coin area. Then you're golden.
Yeah, hit it and nail it, and repetition.
Exactly. Grip it and rip it.
Grip it and rip it. So I was fortunate enough. I had Matthew Gus Brown. He went to the same club for a couple. And his whole thing was that if he hadn't flicked, it was 400 to 600 balls by himself out of PC training by the time Thursday came, he didn't feel comfortable for the game that he was playing on the weekend. And I was like, and that was someone who was already like, let's call it like 4 or 5 years deep into his like adult career to still be 100%. So about it. I was so impressed with it. I was like, that's awesome. Like that dedication to what you wanted to do, that makes such a huge difference. So, you know, saying that you kept a diary and being meticulous about it. Those are the things I think make a big difference between someone who's really amateur about what they do and the difference between amateur and being very professional in your outlook. And I think it doesn't matter whether we get paid or not, but if you're professional in your outlook, that dictates everything and changes it.
100%. It's a mindset. And the thing is, like, when I realized also coming back from the operation stuff, you lose it so quickly. I mean, that's it's the 10,000 hours rule. You got to just put in the hard work. Yeah,
that's it. Time. And, you know, deliberate practice. The key one on that. Yeah.
100%.
So we got a question here. Who was that actually? I just texted from Vickers again. Vickers, I think you're asking silly questions here, bro. Who would win a fight between Spider-Man and Superman? I'll let you have that.
Iron Man.
Iron Man. Oh, well, Iron Man, I think definitely, but like if it's Superman versus like anyone, yes, outside of Batman, because Batman, I think he'll outsmart anyone having it, you know, if he has enough prep time. But no, jeepers, we'll get there. Oh, nice. Well, we got a couple over here. Mark Walraven jumping in again. Who's been your best?
Of course, Mark Walraven's jumping in.
Saying, who's been your best IPT roommate? I think that one's...
Oh, Mark Walraven, you've got that one all day of the week, bud. Don't worry. That's yours. That'll always be your title.
Yeah. Listen, I don't think you can go wrong with rooming with a bio. Like,
exactly.
Oh, listen, bro, what do you think this is? Do you mind just getting stuck in a little bit and working this?
Exactly. 100%. 100%.
Oh, that is awesome. And here's the other one here. We said, had some interesting haircuts over the while, and you look like a man that's getting it going. Is that something that's a bit of a priority for you?
Myself, no. This honestly, my hair got really long, and it probably bothered my mom more than anything. And yeah, this is just the best. I think this is the best it's gonna look, to be honest, until the barber's open. But we'll just roll with the punches. My mom's probably on this course, to be honest. So I've got to say that.
Is it? Oh, 100%. I think also part of the reason, outside of our Osaka hats looking so vibey, but it's been a little crazy over the last while. So let's just give it a little sneaky cover up, and we'll go from there. Oh, jeez, Mark, I had an absolute nightmare. That's actually your sister. That's a bio. It's not you. That's my bad, bro. That's we'll get it in there. Anyway, Carl, our time is running a little short. Thank you so much, bro. And just great catching up, and great to see you doing well and still dominating.
Jonty, it's really cool to see you again, but hopefully see you soon in real life.
In real life, charging on the field, or just to catch up sometime. That'd be epic.
100%.
Rad. Keep well, bro.
Cheers, bro. Thank you.
Cheers.
You too. Cheers.
Cheers. Oh, man. So, Seth, I don't think you can get a much better answer when you're talking about drag flicking and going onto it. Hey, man, find what's appropriate for you. Find the technique, and if it's something you really want, you want to work and you want to go from there. And then, jeepers, two guys, Cody talking about how deliberate he is and how disciplined he is. Kyle talking about exactly the same thing. And I think you can pick up that trend and that stream of what it is to be a top performer, and still being able to do that while being a human and having everything around, and having your studies and having a vibe and having a girlfriend, and really making time for the things that you want. That's just so rad. That's epic. And so stoked that we can keep on going from there. But the next one, and I think we're all really, really excited to have a chat with Kristen, who's going to be joining us, and hopefully we can get on. I think Casey's still having some problems, so we might have to save for next one. Maybe actually we'll have a round of everyone who can't get on. Casey, we'll have another one with Chad, But Pates, what's happening?
Hey, John, how are you?
Yeah, doing very well, thank you. It's just slowly getting through and chatting with Carl, and also another Joe Burger, nice and cold up there.
Oh, it's
Hey?
freezing. You have no idea, John. I've literally been for 2 runs this week, and if I wasn't going to catch corona, I was definitely going to catch the flu. So that has absolutely put me off.
Oh, so I'm presuming you saying that, like, you then not a fan of being on the treadmill and sort of going through that. You need your space and need to get outside and just be one with the world a little bit, eh?
It's actually funny that you say that because our treadmill is actually behind us over there. And there's this like random hole in the wall. And so when we've been running this week with the cold weather, it's like the perfect like little incubator for all the cold air. So you'd be like running and you have tears coming down your face because it's literally so cold. But yeah, normally I prefer the road, but obviously with lockdown and stuff, we've had to use the treadmill. So yeah.
Yeah. That is crazy. And yeah, from obviously Pretoria days and all that icy cold, and it hits you.
Yes.
And there's like nothing you can do, and you kind of like become teary and no, absolutely. Yeah. But Pates, you obviously 4th year into Cairo, doing your Cairo out of 5 at UJ, which is an insane amount of workload. You're playing for the national team. You took a little bit of time off. How are you managing your time? Easier now, but let's talk, BC before Corona. And how is that all going down?
Well, yeah, so just to explain a little bit, it's a 5-year degree and I'll be finishing this year, but in my 2nd year, I had Junior World Cup. So I split my year. And then in 2018, we had Commonwealth and World Cup. So I took that year off completely. And then that was also really cool because that took me to Belgium. We'll probably chat about that later. But yeah, honestly, like this year was probably going to be my toughest year and I was really going to burn the candle at both ends. And so in a way, if there's one positive thing that's happened with Corona, it's the fact that I get to finish my 4th year and I can really dedicate myself. So that's like kind of been one positive, but otherwise it's just like, for me, it's been a lot of sacrifice, in that like my social life has suffered a lot because like I'm also a really driven person and my marks will speak to that as well. So for me, I want to do well at varsity, but I also want to do well on the national side. And for me, I can't have that if I'm going out every weekend as well. So yeah, just really being self-disciplined.
That is epic. Yeah, that is really, really hectic. And I've actually just lost my train of thought as I was about to ask you a question there. Sorry. Yeah, so you obviously, perfect then, get to finish your 4th year. You get an extra 18 months to a year to prep for the Olympics, the 2020/2021 Olympics. How's that process taking you? Obviously, Rob is super meticulous, making sure everyone's got their programs, but how is that little bit of breathing room, let's just call it that, like helped you out in the way?
Well, I think it's twofold because obviously like going into lockdown, we were all super motivated and we knew that coming out of it, there'd be an Olympics and stuff. And so when it got postponed, it was really difficult. Like, I know it's going to sound silly, but I felt like I'd lost someone. Like, you build yourself up for this big event and you're so close to getting there and then all of a sudden it's just gone. And then from being postponed, it kind of went to, well, there's talk about it being cancelled. And then I was like, whoa, like this is everything that I've been building up towards, like it's that typical moment of if you aren't an athlete, what are you kind of thing. And so that was really difficult to deal with. But obviously like now with things easing up and a bit of light at the end of the tunnel, it's slowly starting to pick up again. And apparently at level 3, we can start training in small groups and stuff. So hopefully that is what's going to happen. But yeah, it's just taken a lot of focus to try and get back on track and just stay motivated because it's also really difficult in such a small space to be a hockey player. Like you can be an athlete and you can gym and stuff, but like hockey really suffers. So yeah.
Like the mental block to get outside of doing your yardsticks and the things which you only have, 1.5 meters to do it with.
Exactly.
It's real tough. And I mean, especially for someone like you, and you are truly known across the country, guys and girls, as one of the purest ball carriers that we have in the country, super slick and super skillful, and enjoy that aspect of the game. Is that something that came naturally to you, or is it something that you worked on quite a lot? How did that aspect of your game develop? Sure,
I don't even know, to be honest. Like I think I focused a lot on like skill building, if that makes sense. I was really lucky in high school. I had Clinton Panther as my coach, which, I mean, flip, that's pretty awesome. And his brother Brandon was actually coaching our boys team, so had the both of them to learn from, which was really cool. And then came into UJ, and then started hanging out with a lot of the national players and stuff, and so really pushed the skills aspect of it, developing like aerial skills and stuff like that. But then when I made the national side, and it's quite funny because I went from being an out-and-out left midfielder to all of a sudden a central midfielder and like a screen. And that was so different. And at the beginning of my career, it was very restrictive. Like, this is what you can do, you know, this is what we want you to do. And I was so scared that like that's all I did. And that kind of forced me to build like more of, not necessarily carrying, but getting myself out of sticky situations and passing. And so, yeah, that it was kind of a cool focus to shift to, because so many more things start opening up and you see things and you see passing windows and stuff. And yeah, so I guess the little bit of restriction at the beginning of my career forced me to look at things differently in terms of like just wanting to scribble everyone and look good, if that makes sense.
Yeah, look good, or just absolute hands and go crazy. Yeah, no, that's epic. And how much, I mean, obviously two completely different styles. But you got the opportunity, as you mentioned earlier, go across to play in Belgium, play for Wellington. And I mean, at that time, Wellington were one top 4 team, top 3 team in the league at that time. Like,
when I started out, they had finished 6th, and that year a couple of the senior players had left, and it was a really, really young side. And it was a little bit of a frustrating season because we started off doing really well, and like the league winners, we lost 1-0 in our first game, and everything was sort of 1-0, 1-0, 1-0. And then when it came to the end of the season, you obviously have play downs, and they changed the formats of the play downs. So instead of being 4 teams, it was 6 teams, and it was a best of like 3 games, if that makes sense.
Yes.
So yeah, it was super complicated, and we didn't actually end up doing all that well. But just in terms of like the hockey, it's, man, like here you have one good game versus like one of the clubs in your league, and then versus another varsity team, and then the rest of it is kind of like a walkover. And you know, you're not forced to play your best. You're not forced to actually concentrate. Where there, every like single weekend, you have tough opposition. So that was one thing that was really cool. But the next thing is because it's so like multicultural and diverse, and because there are so many international players, you're constantly exposed to different things. And like here, like South Africans are really hardy and tough, and we've got a really good work ethic. And there, everything is about like finesse. And so like the basics, even in the little kids, is just crazy. Yeah, it's so cool. It's like a knife through butter. But then also like they have a bunch of like weird tactical things. I wouldn't call it weird. I would just call it different. Like more like sort of football orientated in like a box to box style, where we speak about screens and center backs here. So yeah, I suppose that was really interesting because even though you're not necessarily learning something new, you are learning something new. And I'm very much the type of person that has to be stimulated. So yeah, that was cool. I enjoyed that.
Yeah, that's epic. Yeah, I think the thing definitely there is it's not something new, but it's a different way of thinking about the things you know already. And you go, oh, I quite like this in that moment, or how we try and manipulate this. Actually, no, that sucks. I want to do this the way we do it when we get back home, and that'll work for us. And yeah, but those little small learning things, I think, is just absolutely awesome. And that's been very, very cool. Yeah. So you know what's been going down with the Deshi project and all the rest. One thing, bit of a challenge, I wanted to know from you, out of Robin Johnson, Lisa Deercliffs, Chad Futcher, Jess Lardens, Miguel de Grassa, what would be one thing you would want to learn from all of them? Because obviously they all have their crazy big strengths. They are completely different players and have an epic outlook on the game. Is there something that stands out in your mind? You know, from you, I want this. From you, I want this. From you, I want this. From you, this. Bang.
That's so easy. Like, I was waiting for you to be like, which one would you pick? And I was going to be like, oh my gosh, Jonty, you've just put me in a position to get kicked out of the house.
I would never be that mean. I'd definitely not do that.
I think if I start with Chad, his aerial skills are ridiculous. I mean, I remember watching him at USA and Stellenbosch, and he was just carving through the field. So yeah, to build on aerials from him, because drag flicking for me, it's cool, but I'll leave that to Lil, like no interest in it kind of thing. Yes, from Jess, geez, she shields the ball really well, like protects the ball with her body really well. So that's one thing that really sticks out for me. from Miguel, his passing range is just crazy. Like, he can see things that no one else can see, and he's like just 2 steps ahead of the play. And like, I think I can relate to that a lot. So that would be something I take away from him. From Lise, oh my gosh, she is the most frustrating defender to attack against because she's always 2 steps ahead. Like, there is nothing that she doesn't know is coming. And yeah, so that's one thing I'll take away from her. And then from Robs, it's just her ability to connect quickly in small spaces. Like, that like 2-touch passing mentality. I mean, I remember we had a camp in Joburg and we were playing against her, and her team with 3 of them on the left hand side of the field just made one of our strikers look so silly, and it was literally like a triangle passing drill, like dunk, 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 made us look silly. So yeah, that's one thing from Robs that stands out.
I think that comes through strong from her Endo background, because she loves that, just as like little tiki-taka across the court, across the field. Boom, boom, pass through lines, get it back, go, 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 go. Oh, that's just been absolutely epic. And yeah, especially her and Jess, that sort of transition between the two has been epic. And the one thing I liked about Jess, you mentioned sort of the ability to go and change the game, but her change of pace in her decision-making and execution, that's something that's very, very cool. And yeah. So
yeah, actually, sorry, John, just on that. Last PHL, there was a game that the Rangers played against the Wings. And I just remember thinking, like, gosh, there's just no way I can outrun this chick. Like, wherever I am, she is. And like, I just cannot get rid of her. And it was so funny because in the post-match write-up, Tyron was like all on that. This like battle between Jess and KP. And yeah, shame.
Yeah. And I think, Jess, I don't think you've got a bigger compliment ever in your life before, saying that, KP struggled to keep up with you. That's huge. Take it, run with it, put it in the back pocket, write it on your CV. That's... Oh, that's awesome. Well, one of the things that came out here, I'm actually trying to scroll up the feed. One of the questions, besides everyone saying you're an absolute hero, is what are some of the things that you really took away from overseas? You said, okay, there's a different style of playing. Was there anything that stood out in particular about like a technical aspect, something you took away from one of the players you played with? Anything like that really sticks out?
It's interesting because, like, for me, the biggest takeaway wasn't necessarily the hockey. Like, it was my first time being overseas, and like, I've always been a pretty independent person, but I hadn't had my eyes open to how much opportunity is actually out there. And so, like, for me, I always thought, have to get a degree because hockey's not going to give me a good career, blah, blah, blah. And that's not necessarily not the truth, but in the same light, like, the opportunities overseas are a lot more than what we have here just because of how professional they are. And so then that would be kind of the second thing that I would take away, is just like, it's not that it's weird because I don't want to say that we're not professional here, but there you train Tuesday, Thursday, everyone's at gym, no one has an excuse at the weekend. Like, it's competitive up until Thursday because you don't know who's being selected. So yeah, kind of just like the professional approach from everyone, be it like an under 19 boys team or a damas first team. Like, it's all the same, and it's really big, and hockey culture here is big, but I don't think it's quite on that level yet. So
it's not anywhere close to that level. I think if you watch the sort of spectator crews that you got in there, and really just the club vibe, I think is completely different. And it's maybe because everyone does have their own clubhouse and they've got 2 or 3 asterisks situated around, whereas we based a little bit around varsities and schools and all that. But I think our dedication to training and all that is incredible, and like, we will match absolutely anyone in the country. But it is those small little points. If we can put that together, that would, I think that would be one of the big changes we can make. That will really improve our sport. But you're talking now about the difference culturally and all the rest. And it was actually something I remembered now from my chat with Cody a little bit earlier. You were saying like what things would change. And, as South Africans, we really greet and we hug and all the rest. And the one thing I remember being so caught out by is one of the clubs I played for Gantoise in my second season. And the strong like French contingency and a lot of Dutch guys, but a bit of mixture. And you go meet the guys, and one of the guys came in. I was like, "Cool, we're going, for a good old hug." And he went for the French like little kiss on the cheek. I was caught so off guard. I didn't know what to do. I was like, "Oh crap!" I was like, oh, "Wait, I've seen this before. Okay, no, this is casual. This is okay." I didn't know what to do. So again, I wonder how things are going to change come the end of this lockdown, and I really hope we can go to being as close to normal as possible, and all the rest. They'll be just epic.
Yeah, that would be great.
a cool little question that came up here, and I think it's from Tams 1009. Is what would be your go-to skill and why? Do you have a little panic station? I've got to do something here. What is your go-to?
Yeah, it's quite funny because it's one of two things. I also shield really well, I think. Or I'd like to say. So when I'm
never ever you get
it's a skill. They need to jump on our page. But yeah, so shielding would be one of them, and then the next thing would just be aerials because it makes life so difficult.
Oh, and that's it. I love that moment where just get it up and the defender kind of stands and goes, "Oh, what are you gonna do next? Panic, panic, panic!" And then
yeah,
obviously with
and then it's the big old hack, and it's your ball. So
that's brilliant. I'm my professional assistant, and I'll say professional assistant because she's been absolutely epic. Alex is telling me that in the last couple of minutes, apparently CJ is available to have a quick chat. So I'm sorry we've got to cut short, but KP has been absolutely incredible chatting. So thank you so much for sharing some time with us, and stay warm, and
thanks,
then get through all your studies and all that.
Thanks so much. Stay in those baggies. I'm so jealous.
It's been a little treat. Durban, I don't know, if we can get out to the beach on Monday, I'll send virtual hugs to whoever the government decision makers are. That'd be epic.
Fingers crossed for you, Johns.
Oh, thank you so much. Awesome.
Cool.
We'll catch you soon. Keep well.
Bye.
Oh man, that is so awesome. Jeepers. What an afternoon to chat, eh? Jeepers. This has been so cool, and I love the way KP thinks about the game and what she chats about, and that's been something very, very cool. One of those things, never really spoken to her much about hockey and her outlook, but in our short space of time, that's really, really epic. And I love the way that as a player, she can identify strengths in other players. That's such a cool thing. So, like, you can wrap off, yeah, I want Lisa's defensive tactics, Chad with his aerial skill, Jess with her change of place and manipulating, Rob's going through lines, Mig's passing range, which we know is just ridiculous. That's so rad. And I think actually probably says a lot about her as an attacker as well, and actually a player, because if I'm trying to work out what I'm trying to see by the defenders in front of me, that just empowers me a little bit more instead of running through the game. Man, that is so sick. Okay, but let's see. Come on, we've got 7.5 minutes. Let's see if we can get CJ on. She seems to be. I saw a couple of messages pop up on the feed now. I think we on it. Here we go. Come on, let's connect. I hear something. Maybe we can get on. I think CJ, are you there?
Yeah. But...
Yeah, hey. Fantastic. How are you doing?
Fine, thanks, and you?
Yeah, very, very good. But one massive question we need to clear up as your video is coming through chat. But, I need to establish real quickly, is it CJ Botha or is it CJ Botha? Because apparently you're not quite as Afrikaans as everyone is led to believe. Hey?
Yeah. No, it is Botha, because my dad's side is Afrikaans, my mom's side's English.
Is it? Well, actually, I did know your old man is Afrikaans. It was last year up to PHL to catch a lift up from Durban, and your old man was super generous and drove us all up. And for the first half, I was really trying my best, and this one by a donkey. And then my Afrikaans absolutely ran out. And luckily you jumped in and saved us. And it was a bit of English chat. So thank you so much. And, well, there we go. I think we might have lost you, but you're coming back online, I hope. But we'll see what's happening over there. So EJ is stemming out of Bloemfontein. Bloem girl through and through, coming out of Unisi. And now still studying, doing your stuff at Bloem in education in your 4th year. Is that correct, CJ?
Yes. I don't know what's happening with this thing. I'm blonde for a reason. I don't know why the camera doesn't work.
Don't even stress about it. Everyone will just have to carry on looking at the guy with long hair. And just continue continue chatting and going from there.
Okay.
But how has it been in Bloemfontein? Obviously, besides it getting crazy cold there, you've had a little bit more freedom than anyone else over this lockdown, I believe. If we're watching your feed closely, you're spending some time with your boyfriend's farm and stuff like that. Eh? Oh no, just as she drops out of it. But what an absolute treat. I think, fortunate, just like me, she got a little bit of time to spend out on the boyfriend's farm. And I don't think there are many places where you can beat that like deep Bloemfontein sunset, where it's those incredible dark colors coming through, and just like that massive expanse which goes up when you do have the opportunity to just get out past everything. I think that's so cool. And from the boyfriend's farm, sheep is some apples, some potatoes, all sorts of things, and just really cool. Sports Republic 100% correct. What is a Chukka chat without a little connection error? Hey, just hacking a little bit with what's going on, but it's fine. I think what we'll definitely do, I think we need to do the catch-up Chukka chats, where we're definitely going to have CJ, we're going to have Chad, and who was it? I think it was last one, Chukka 3 or Chukka 4, where we had that little hack and hiccup and start again. I think that might have been me on the farm, but we'll get into it. Zed, you're dropping a question here. What is... Oh, Sarah. Oh, my God. I call you Sarah. Sure. I can't nail one down. I mean, I love the equipment. Love my sticks. Those massive. But as I think you probably picked up over the last while, massive cap fan. So whenever I'm out and coaching, obviously I'm one of those. But, yeah. CJ has just sent through her apology. She's really struggling to jump on. But we'll have to have a catch-up then. So, guys... What's Chukka chat? Jonty, has to be full Afrikaans. Near donkey. That's probably not going to happen. But we'll have to try. I think we'll have to maybe see if we can get some bilingual. At least we'll have like Google Translate on the side here. And then we can see if we can hack across both of it and go from there. But yeah, guys and girls. There we go. We got one more from Noah. What stick do I use? Probo Elite. Oh my goodness. Actually, where's it? Around the corner. I had it out. No. Yeah, the Proto Bow is just an absolute delight, the Unlimited. So if you've got a chance, I've actually started playing with a slightly lower bow this season. I had the low bow last year. I decided I want to go for the low bow. Maybe getting a little bit lazy and wanting to throw some bigger aerials. But what a treat. Feel under stick is epic. And when you hit it, it just stiffens up. It's an absolute dream. So do yourself a favor, go check it out. What we will do is post a little bit later. We've got some Osaka codes. If you want to, you've been obviously following the chats. We'll drop it online later. You can jump on for a discount code. They are having absolutely epic sales. So go check out the Osaka Hockey website. Everything is being delivered at the moment. So jump in, have a look at it, get any equipment that you want there, and make sure you're absolutely sorted for when we do go back, fingers crossed, on Monday to some pre-training, maybe some soft introduction to non-contact training. But then we can go from over there. So, ladies and gents, thank you so much. As our time's running out, I've just got the notification pop up to tell me that we're about to run out of time. Absolute treat. Thank you so much for joining us, and have an epic weekend. Make sure it's fun. Enjoy your running, 6 to 7 before we got the freedom. But again, let's help flatten this curve. Make sure we are staying safe. Keep the vibe, keep strong, and have an epic time. We'll catch up again soon for the next Chukka Chats. Awesome chatting to you all. Cheers, guys. And girls. Girls, guys, girls, everybody. Epic stuff. Cheers, everyone. Whoop, and...